Hello, my name is Barry Kobe. I'm a senior adjudicator at the Student Exchange Visitors Program, and I'll be here today to talk to you all on SEVP, what we are, what we do, and how we can help you. First off, we'll have a presentation overview. We will go over what SEVP is. We will go over finding and applying to SEVP certified schools. Once you've been accepted to a school, what do you do next? What your primary and secondary school official is and their responsibilities to you. How to get ready to go, come to the United States. Once you've come here, what's the story? What's next? Once you're here, going to school, maintaining your status, and what are government resources that are available to you that you can use in your years here in the United States going to school. Now, SEVP, which stands for the Student Exchange Visitors Program, is a part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. It is under the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, affectionately referred to as ICE. And our priorities is twofold. We certify and make sure F and M schools are in compliant with our laws and our regulations. And we also make sure that the students who are coming to America and going to our schools are here legally, and that they have duration of status, and that they're attending the school that they originally came to, and that the schools are notified and are aware of the students' whereabouts, where they live, where they're going to school, what they're majoring in, and so on. And that's basically our responsibility, is oversight, making sure that schools, students, and us are all working together to make sure we're all here legally. Now, first step, what school do I go to? Where do I find a school? There is a website called educationusa.info that you can go on. There's also one that the Department of Homeland Security has, which is called Study in the States. These different programs will tell you what schools that you can legally attend. And by that, I mean, in order for a non-immigrant student to come to the United States and study here in America, the school that they choose must be certified and approved by SEVP and be part of the SEVP system in order for you to come here. So educationusa.info and Study in the States will give you lists of those schools that you may apply to, and you are you can send your application to them and go from there. Now, once you've submitted your application, what's next? Well, the school will have to determine whether or not you meet its academic standards and its requirements. And there are other responsibilities that you will have to bring to the table too. Financial ability to pay for the education, living expenses, and so on. And once you have met all those qualifications and the school says you're a go, then you'll be notified of your acceptance. Now, once you are accepted by a school, the PDSO, which is the primary designated school official, or the DSO, the designated school official, depending on which school you go to. Some of the smaller schools don't even have a DSO. They just have a PDSO. But the larger schools usually have several DSOs as well as the PDSO. Anyway, once you've been accepted into a school, the PDSO or DSO will send you a Form I-20. Now, the Form I-20 is a paper record, and it exists in the SEVIS database. Each school that accepts you will send you an I-20. But remember, and this is something that's very important, and we want you to, one of the things we want you to take away from this conference more than anything else, I'll be giving you what I call highlights. The one thing we want you to remember is only use the form sent to you by the school you plan to attend. In other words, if you apply to, say, 5 or 6 universities, and you decide, like, say, for example, I'm going to go to the University of Michigan, bring the I-20 that says University of Michigan. Do not bring the others. Just that one. Now, the other thing you have to do is, since we are the federal government, you have to pay a fee. This is called the 901 SEVIS fee. All students have to pay the 901 fee before the U.S. Department of State will issue you a visa. Be sure to do that. Now, because we have some problems with certain foreign countries, some of the foreign countries we cannot accept credit card payments simply because there's so much illegal activity going on that we cannot accept them. So sometimes you'll have to pay either through a certified check, a money order, or so on. In order to figure out which one of these things is right for you, go to Study in the States and go to the part that says paying your I-901 service fee. It'll give you all the directions that you need in order to pay your fee. Once you pay your fee, you're ready to go. And now, after you pay the fee, you must obtain the visa. That you do at the American Embassy of your country. You make an appointment with them, you bring your I-20, you bring your financial statements, and you sit down and you talk to the representative at the embassy, and they will go over with you your visa application. If you have any questions about the visa aspect of your applications, there is another website that you can go to, which is, let's see, just a second, travel.state.gov. That will give you the information that you need in order to get your, what's required in order to get your visa. Okay, now we get into the school aspect of it. What is a DSO? A DSO is what we call a designated school official. They are your advisor. When you go to your university, college, vocational school, what have you, you have what they call a designated school official. It is this person's responsibility to sit down with you and go over every aspect of what is required of you to go to school there. He or she will go over all questions that you might have, say working, getting a job, applying for a driver's license, applying for a social security number, changing your major, or what degree level, whether you want to say you're coming for just an associate's degree and you want to change it to a bachelor's degree. you've decided you don't like this school. You want to transfer to another school. They will help you do that. You need a break. There's a family emergency. You need to go home. The DSO will explain to you all the ramifications of leaving school early and what's going to be required of you legally. If you change your address, you're living, say, in one apartment and you move to another, or you're living in the dorm and now you want to live in an apartment, you have to talk to your DSO. And if you decide that you want to extend your education, as in, say, you're going for your bachelor's degree and you want to now go for your master's degree, they're the people you talk to. They are your link between us, SEVP, and the school. This is the most important person for you to develop a relationship with. Now, you have everything. Your school has accepted you. You're ready to walk out the door. What do you need to bring with you? One thing I have to ask, and this is another thing, when it comes to, if there's one thing you get from this, please remember this. Please, please, please remember to bring your I-20. This causes more problems with more students than any single issue. When you come to the United States, you got to bring your I-20, your enrollment or acceptance letter from the university or school that you're going to. You're supposed to bring your evidence of financial resources, i.e. bank statements and so on, saying how much money you have in the bank. You should bring the name of your DSO with you. In case there's a problem at the border, Customs and Border Protection can call your DSO and talk to them. And make sure you bring your visa and your passport. And just as a helpful tip, when you get your I-20, make copies. In fact, make 2 copies. Have 1 copy at home. Have 1 copy in your luggage. And have the original with you. So when you go to the port of entry, Customs and Border Protection can see your I-20. Oh, one other thing, very important, I just spotted. I wish to remind you, you can enter the United States 30 days before you have to attend school. So if your school starts September 3rd, you can come August 3rd to come here, say, find an apartment, set up, get yourself settled in, and so on, or get yourself in the dorm, or whatever. You can go sightseeing if you want. But you've got 30 days to come into the United States before school starts. Now, you're here. Congratulations. You have to report to your school on your school start date, which is given to you by your DSL. If you cannot enter the United States and you're going to be late for a couple of days, immediately contact your DSL so they can correct your record in our database. Once you get here, the most important person for you to talk to is your DSO. Go to him or her immediately. Sit down and talk, and they will guide you through all that you need to know to start your school. And if something should come up, you've got a family emergency, you can't start school right now for whatever reason, you've got to talk to your DSO, because your DSO is your link to us, and your duration of status is linked to us. Your eligibility to be here legally is through SEVP. And it is your DSO that talks to us and explains the situation. That's very, very important. When you get to school, first thing you should do, go to your DSO, sit down and talk to them. Now, once you're in school, what do? Well, pretty obvious. Go to class. Make sure you're going to all your classes. Make sure you're passing all your classes. As far as work goes, if you want a part-time job, please do not work without authorization. You'll get that from your DSO. If you're going to travel outside the United States, go to your DSO and get pre-approved by them. And when you complete your program of study, you may wish to learn what to do for the following. You can transfer to another school. You can change your education level. Say you want to go from a bachelor's to a master's degree. You may want to get another visa status change. You have 60 days to complete your program, or you have to leave the United States once you've finished your education. So even when you're done and you're graduating, go talk to your PDS or your PDSO or your DSO. They will explain to you what your responsibilities are as far as either staying on in the country, pursuing, say, like another degree, or how long you can stay in the United States before your duration of status runs out and you become illegal in this country. So it's very important that you talk to them about that too. Your government resources. As I've said before, one of the most important ones for you that we started at SEVP is something called Study in the States. This is a really good website that can give you an immense amount of information on what it means to be a student in the United States. We highly recommend, before you do anything, go to Study in the States and get a feel for what you want to do. Where you want to go in the United States. What school would you like to go to? What major would you like to have? All these things are on Study in the States and will help you. The amount of information that is on there is almost immeasurable. And it's in 64 different languages, so they should be able, hopefully, to help all of everyone who's interested in coming to the United States. You can even go on Study in the States on Facebook. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. I'll now field questions if anyone wishes to ask on any parts of this that maybe you didn't understand, or questions about things that I didn't cover. Feel free to ask.
The first question is, I want to improve English in order to teach. Is a community college enough for my purposes? I want a short time and a cheap program for this.
Yes, there many community colleges in the United States that offer excellent ESL courses. Once again, look them up and study in the States. You'll find them, and they're very reasonably priced. In fact, you hit the nail right on the head. Community colleges are one of the best bangs for your buck in the United States. We have some outstanding community colleges in this country, and they will give you a very good education for a very reasonable price.
The next question is, what happens if I forget one of my forms?
Oh boy. Well, this is where the nightmare comes in. One thing that, if you remember, if I said, please, 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 please bring your I-20, this is the single most important form that students forget more than anything else. Most students almost always remember their passport because they can't get on their plane in their own country without it. And the visa, same thing. But usually at the airports of your own country, they won't ask you for the I-20. You will only get that when you land here in the United States and go through Customs and Border Protection. Now, this is what happens to you if you forget your I-20. Once you go into Customs and Border Protection and you see the nice officer and he goes over your papers and he realizes, oh, you don't have your I-20, you are going to get sent down to what they call secondary. And secondary is another section of Customs and Border Protection Office where they will sit down and go over your paperwork and talk to you, and then if necessary, they will get in contact with your school. They'll call that's why we say bring the name and phone number of your PDSO or DSO with you, because they may have to contact your school. Now, if you don't have it, but you can tell them the name of the school, a lot of times the officers can just call the school and the school will say, oh, the PDSO is so-and-so, here's their number. So they can get in contact with the person. But it helps if you have it. Second, and this is the most important thing, they will call your school and then they will ask, you know, is this person a student at your school? Is he registered or she? The school will confirm or deny you. And then the officer can decide, or they can go into SEVIS and look up your file. And if it says that you're active or initial, then they will give you what they call the 515A form. The 515A form gives you duration of status for 30 days. Please remember that. 30 days. Once you get into the PDSO, the Customs and Border Protection Officer gives you your 515A form, and you go through Port Authority, and you get to the into the United States, and go to your school, go immediately to your DSO with your 515 and show him or her the 515 and say, look, I forgot my I-20, I need a new I-20, and I need to send this to us. It gets sent directly to us. So make sure you get your 515, your I-20, and you mail it to us. You've got 30 days. If you do not send us that information in 30 days, your duration of status runs out. And according to the databases here in the United States, you're now illegal in the United States. So if there's one thing I must say, and I'll say it again, please, please, please make sure you have your I-20 along with your visa and along with your passport. It will make life a heck of a lot easier.
The next question, is there anything that I can't bring into the United States?
Well, yeah, there's tons of things you can't bring in the United States. There's things like explosives, weapons, all kinds of stuff. But what we, if you're really worried about, say, different types of like chemicals or deodorants or hairsprays or any of that stuff, go to a website called tsa.gov, traveler information / prohibited items. Okay.
So the next question is there anything I can't bring into the United States?
Yeah, a lot of the United States has, because of fear of hijacking and all kinds of stuff, we have a list of things that is prohibited for you to bring along with you into the United States. There is a website by the tsa.gov /traveler /information prohibited items. Go to that website and it'll give you a list of the different things that we don't want you to bring. But most of it is just common sense stuff. I mean, we don't want you to bring a gun. We don't want you to bring a knife. We don't want you to bring explosives. You know, it's just common sense. Don't bring anything that is a danger to other people, basically. But TSA will let you know specifically on things you can and cannot bring.
The next question is, what can I expect when I arrive in the United States?
Well, once you come to the United States, first thing after you talk to your PDSO or DSO is talk to your academic advisor on, you know, your classes and so on, and being set up on campus. A lot of schools today have what they call an international student advisor, where they will sit down with you and talk to you about the school itself, where you are, what's available as far as resources go. If you're a school out in the countryside, they can tell you about the nearest towns or cities. If you're in a metropolitan area, they can tell you, you know, how to get about the city, what to see in the city, you know, areas to go and maybe not go. The student advisors are very handy, and most schools have them. So I would say once you get to the school, use your school's resources. They're your best bet for learning information about what to do and where to go while you're there.
The next question is, how much money should my financial certification state? What if I'm on a scholarship and don't bring much?
The school will tell you what they have determined is adequate. And by adequate, I mean some schools require you to live in the dorms for the first year. So they will give you a fee that will cover the dorm, food, and what they call expenses, books and so on. And most schools have already budgeted this out. Talk to your DSO about that. The DSO will be able to tell you what the bare minimum is that you have to have in your financial statement in order to attend the school. They'll be able to tell you.
The next question is, who can I contact if I need help?
Well, I know I'm beating the drum here. And I hate saying this over and over again, but the first person you should talk to is your DSO. the DSO should have most of the answers of what you need. If it's in academic and you don't think you're getting the right answer from your DSO, then you got to talk to your academic advisor at the school. If you don't think, if the DSO isn't giving you the information about the school itself that you think isn't adequate enough, then go to like the international student advisor. But if you have specific questions about, say, visas or passports or leaving or entering the country, the DSO can recommend who to speak to. If it's a situation where you need to speak to us directly, we have a phone line that you can call, and you can actually call SEVP, and we have a call center here, and they can take your call and write what we call a ticket, and they will get back to you with the answer if it's an SEVP problem that you're having.
The next question is, how do I maintain my status while in the United States?
Single most important way to maintain your status is go to school and get good grades. In order to maintain your status in the United States, you're here as a student. As a student, your obligation is to go to school and pass. So in order to maintain your status here in the United States, primary thing is be a good student, go to school.
The next question is, in case I'm accepted to study only for one semester in the United States, in a university with an exchange program, do I need to get an I-20 and a DSO as well?
Yes. No exceptions. Yes, you do, even if it's for one semester.
The next question is there any information I should keep in mind when entering the United States?
Yeah. I know this is going to sound kind of flippant, but you'd be amazed how many students have gotten themselves in trouble by this. And so we ask you, especially when you're going through Customs and Border Protection, don't make light of sensitive subjects. For example, like terrorism. Don't kid around. Don't make remarks about like hijacking a plane. I know it sounds pretty obvious, but you'd be amazed how many students have gotten themselves into trouble because they're sitting there talking with their friends and they're just making some, smart alecky remark about terrorists and so on. And somebody from security overhears it in the airport and jumps you and hauls you in and say, what are you talking about? And now you got to explain yourself. You'd be amazed how things like that happen. But when you come to the United States, remember one thing. One of the things that this country values the most is freedom. We have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press. When you come to America, you're allowed to express your feelings, your beliefs, your political backgrounds, everything that you want to express as a student and as a person. And just common sense stuff, don't threaten people or anything, but this is a free nation. You're allowed to speak freely in it. Enjoy it.
The next question is, can I travel after I complete my program?
Once you have completed your program, you have 60 days to leave the United States. In those 60 days, if you wish to tour the United States, you want to go visit other cities, you want to visit famous landmarks or anything like that, you have 60 days where you have duration of status in the United States to stay. Once that 60 days is up, your duration of status is over, you have to leave the country on that 60th day.
The next question is, what documents do I need to bring with me to the United States?
The documents, let me get my list again so I make sure I don't leave anything out. Hold on just a second. Where did I put those? Okay, got it. Want to make sure I don't leave anything out. When you come to the United States, you must bring your A, passport, B, your visa, C, your Form I-20. You may want to bring your I-901 fee payment because it's kind of a funny thing. Certain Customs and Border Protection entry areas look for that, some don't. Sometimes if you don't have it, they don't care. Sometimes they do. I would say just bring it just to make sure you've got it. Your contact information for your school, i.e. the name of your DSO and their phone number. Your student international advisor. And also, I did say I-20. Okay, yeah, your I-20. So that's what the Customs and Border Protection people are looking for when you go through customs. Give them all that information, smooth sailing, you'll get right through without any trouble.
All right, the next question is, I'm living in Austria, but I was born in Venezuela. How can I apply for a visa abroad if I'm not living in my origin of country?
That is a State Department matter. I would say go to the U.S. Embassy in the country that you're in right now, explain the situation to them, and they'll give you guidance on what you need to do.
All right. The next question is, how do I pay my I-901 SEVIS fee?
The I-901 SEVIS fee, go to, let's see, you have to go to ice.gov/SEVIS/I-901 WUSTINSTRTHM, and it will give you all the information that you need in order to pay the 901 fee.
Okay, the next question is, what do I do once I arrive on campus?
First thing, talk to your DSO. Single most important thing. Once you talk to your DSO will instruct you who you need to see in the school, as in your academic advisor, your international student advisor, all the other people that you need to do. Number one most important person for you to talk to, your DSO.
Next question is, if I have a tourist visa, can I get a student visa?
If you're accepted by a school and the school gives you an I-20, certainly. Just go to the State Department and get your visa.
The next question is, what is a Form I-515?
This is the form that the Customs and Border Protection will print out, fill out, have you sign, and give to you at your port of entry because you forgot your I-20. What this form does is it enables you to legally enter the United States for 30 days. Once you get to your school, go to your DSO, tell the DSO, I forgot my I-20, I have this 515. The DSO will tell you, okay, this is what we got to do. They'll give you the instructions. fill it out, mail them to us, do it as soon as possible. You'd be amazed how many students forget to do it and get in trouble by us.
The next question is, I have no visa. How do I get the process going?
You have to go to the U.S. Embassy. The State Department is the only government agency that can give you a visa. So you have to go to the U.S. Department of State at the U.S. Embassy in your country and talk to them about getting a visa. If they turn you down, we're sorry. There's nothing else you can do. It's up to the State Department to determine whether or not you qualify for a visa. Yes, please. Anyway, we're out of time. I just want to thank you all for tuning in and being with us today. I hope our information was helpful in all the different ways to bring you to the United States, because our goal is for you to have a really good time here. We really want to have foreign students visit our country and enjoy the academic community that's here in the United States. We wish you the best. We wish you luck. And if you do decide to come to the United States, welcome. Thank you.